I could go back in time and undo slavery, I would. I hate it.
It's really not a great movie, but he might be the funniest part of the movie. Folks, one of the most embarrassing yet prolific phases I ever went through in my life was the old late 90s to early 2000s boy band phase. I know. Of course, when I'm not up late at night cringing myself into oblivion over this, sometimes I do find myself wondering what happened to some of these people that I idolized so much growing up. And of course, you can't talk about boy bands of the 90s and 2000s without mentioning nsync, and specifically their most popular member, Justin Timberlake. Luckily for us, it's Friday, which means we have the one and only Taylor James Johnson here to tell us exactly what the f*** happened to Justin Timberlake.
It hasn't happened to me, but I've heard that sometimes people don't feel like the coolest person in the room. Lately, it seems like this man spends more time in hot water. But at one point, Justin Timberlake seemed like the coolest guy on the planet. Or at least the coolest white boy. But despite the massive fame and success he's achieved, Timberlake always felt like he was in rooms with people more confident and more comfortable than he was. You know, more cool. So, in one of the most lucrative forms of overcompensation ever, he wrote and released the 2006 smash hit Sexy Back, an anthem declaring that he was redefining cool on his own terms. And in a lot of ways he did. The song dominated radio, clubs, and pop culture, a testament to Justin Timberlake's creativity and drive that made him the powerhouse he became. But it hasn't always been perfect. He's had some rough patches along the way, made some good and some bad movies, made some good and bad songs, but very few artists have matched Justin Timberlake's peak or longevity. But then he decided to get, drunk and drive or whatever. So yeah, what the fuck happened to Justin Timberlake? But to truly understand what the fuck happened to Justin Timberlake, we must begin at the beginning, and the beginning began when he was born on his birthday! 1981, Memphis, Tennessee, a town rich with music history. So, he joined the all-new Mickey Mouse Club in 1993 for its 6th season, and that's where he met his future nsync bandmate, J.C. Chavez, along with Britney Spears, with whom he'd form a checkered history. Oh yeah, and Christina Aguilera, Kerry Russell, and Ryan Gosling were there too. Justin Timberlake, along with J.C., Joey Fatone, Lance Bass, and Chris Kirkpatrick, formed nsync in 1995, under the exploitive thumb of Lou Pearlman. Pearlman basically had a model where he'd prop up these various pop groups, including the Backstreet Boys, and give them pennies on the dollars they earned, working brutal schedules with few days off. nsync got their feet wet in Europe before releasing their self-titled debut album in the United States of America in March of 1998. Later that year, they were Home for Christmas, an underrated Christmas album, if you like Christmas. But yeah, after a long legal battle with Pearlman, nsync released their magnum opus, No Strings Attached, which is one of the best-selling albums of the decade, and held the first week US sales record for 15 years. The album helped them break out of the Backstreet Boys' shadow with a more R&B and hip-hop infused sound that the band insisted on. Seriously, if you were a kid around this time, you could gain or lose friends based on whether you claimed nsync or the Backstreet Boys. It was a war, and I liked them both. I was caught in this war in no man's land, just enjoying all of the music from all of these boy bands all the time. But I don't know about you, but I think the Backstreet Boys have better, softer ballads, and I think nsync has better, fun pop music. I don't think one is better than the other. I think they're equal. The year 2000 marked the release of nsync's final studio album, Celebrity. In a tale as old as music, it was around this time that the band began to grow apart creatively, with Timberlake later saying that other band members just didn't want it as badly as he did. He also wanted to focus on his solo career, so he said bye 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 to the band. And thanks to Deadpool, that song became popular again just recently, right? In November of 2002, he released his debut solo album, Justified. Get it? Justin? Justified? You get it? You get it? The biggest hit of that album was Cry Me a River, cry me, which featured lyrics about a relationship that failed due to cheating, and a music video with an actress that maybe was meant to look like Britney Spears. This album would net him a Grammy for Best Pop Vocal Album and Best Male Pop Vocal Performance. Way to go, JT. You may remember that Justin Timberlake performed with Janet Jackson at the Super Bowl 38 halftime show in 2004. In a strange grasp at relevancy, Justin Timberlake exposed the naked breast of Janet Jackson in an incident that came to be known as Nipplegate. Because ever since Watergate, we have to add gate to, every scandal. It all seemed a bit too choreographed to be accidental. And yeah, nobody bought Justin's defense of it was an accident. Like it happened when you said, I'm gonna have you naked by the end of the song, and then you had her naked by the end of the song. Like you literally told us what you were doing. Nowadays, this scandal seems pretty harmless, but at the time, it shook up all of our nipples. And it was around this time, burnt out by the music-making process, that Justin Timberlake decided to venture into the world of acting. It has worked with some musicians, so why not him? This started with the crime drama Edison in 2005. Unfortunately, a forgettable movie. But the burnout from music did not last long, though, because in 2006, Justin Timberlake declared that he was bringing sexy back with his second solo album, Future Sex Love Sounds. The album's slick, electric, heavy style made it arguably his best, earning him multiple Grammys, including Best Rap Sung Collaboration, Best Male Pop Vocal Performance, and 2 for Best Dance Recording. 2006 is also when Justin Timberlake began his widely respected and praised appearances on Saturday Night Live, which would earn him 4 Emmys. Yeah, Dick in a Box won an Emmy, and it totally deserved it because it's genius, transcending pop culture into the realm of cultural phenomenon. The Lonely Island guys have all the comedic and musical talent in the world, but Timberlake's participation lent it legitimacy, novelty, and celebrity that helped propel it into the upper echelon of musical comedy sketches. It's catchy, it's subversive, and a sharp commentary on R&B tropes, and a little something for fans of the movie Diner. Yeah, who knew that Justin Timberlake would thrive and excel in Saturday Night Live? Like, the dude is a legit comedian. There was a digital short, Mother Lover, in 2009, three-way The Golden Rule in 2011, featuring Lady Gaga, continued in the same vein, and are, good in their own ways. I really liked Justin Timberlake's role in Alpha Dog in 2007. It showed that he had, bona fide acting chops. That busy year also included Black Snake Moan, and Southland Tales, where Timberlake is barely recognizable. He's probably the best part about this horrible movie. I don't know, it was just nice to see him experimenting and taking a risk as an actor. After roles in Shrek III, The Love Guru, and The Open Road, Timberlake would take on perhaps his most definitive acting role, where they ironically casted a musician to play the founder of Napster, Sean Parker, in David Fincher's masterpiece, The Social Network. A performance that earned him critical acclaim, award nominations, Oscar buzz, but it didn't happen, and showcased his range beyond his usual musician typecasting. He brings a subtle fragility, masked by a charming bravado, making him the perfect foil to Jesse Eisenberg's Mark Zuckerberg. Then, for some reason, Justin Timberlake voiced Boo Boo in Yogi Bear. It was like, hey Boo Boo, why the f*** did we make this movie? His 2011 included roles in Bad Teacher, Friends with Benefits, and In Time, which has a cool yet underdeveloped concept. He then worked with Clint Eastwood in Trouble with the Curve, which had a little trouble getting off the ground. Then there was Runner Runner, which I'd say run away from, unless you like shallow thrillers. Then he was truly fantastic working with the Coen brothers in Inside Llewyn Davis. It's not the biggest role, but he plays it to perfection, and it's very memorable. 2013 brought Timberlake's third solo album, The 2020 Experience, and The 2020 Experience 2 of 2, Justin Timberlake and the Tennessee Kids. The 2006 Jonathan Demme directed concert film is of the best you'll see. That same year he was featured in Trolls, which I guess is a massive hit because they don't stop making them, and Justin Timberlake's contribution to the soundtrack, Can't Stop the Feeling, which if you had kids around that time just couldn't stop playing. It earned him a Golden Globe and Oscar nomination for Best Original Song, and he got a Grammy win for Best Song Written for Visual Media. The Grammys have categories for everything. So yeah, the Trolls movie, it was a cultural phenomenon, spawning 2 holiday specials, 2 animated series, and merch out the wazoo. He would return for the 2 sequels, Trolls World Tour and Trolls Band Together, in 2023. The later featuring a reunion with his nsync bandmates on the soundtrack. So yeah, wow, Justin Timberlake has worked with a lot of great filmmakers. You know, you got David Fincher, Clint Eastwood, the Coen brothers, and now Woody Allen, when he starred in Wonder Wheel, which features, nice visuals and an earnest performance from Timberlake. 2018, we saw his 4th solo album, Man of the Woods, and somehow he was invited back to the Super Bowl to perform at halftime so he could promote it. This was the beginning of a redemption tour of sorts, which also included a public apology on Instagram to Britney Spears and Janet Jackson, because I guess he was afraid of that Me Too movement. This reflective vulnerability likely informed his performance in Palmer, where he delivers a restrained, emotionally nuanced performance that speaks to his growth as both a person and an actor. So yeah, this time Justin was doing pretty well. He had the Trolls franchise under him. He even appeared with his former nsync bandmates to present at the VMAs in 2023, but nothing to this point was going to stand against the accusations levied against him in Britney Spears' 2023 memoir, The Woman in Me, alleging rampant cheating and pressuring her into an abortion, and breaking up with her via text message. Just leave Britney alone!
Before we continue with our video, here's a reminder to click the Store tab on any of our JoBlo channels and browse our collection of the latest and freshest designs in our merch store. Go get you some.
Then, not long after the release of his album Everything I Thought I Was in 2024, Justin Timberlake was arrested for driving while intoxicated in the Hamptons, New York, after running a stop sign and veering out of his lane. As part of his plea deal, he was made to give a ridiculous public apology that came off like it was written for SNL. But seriously, I just fucking hate it when motherfuckers like this, who have like all the money in the world and can just call anyone they want to come pick them up, get behind the wheel while intoxicated. Like, what the motherfuckers? Sorry, just some commentary. Looking forward, perceptions of Justin Timberlake seem to depend on who you are. His recent controversies were expected to negatively affect ticket sales for his Forget Tomorrow World Tour, but it's actually become the fastest selling tour of his solo career. He's been filling mass arenas, adding extra shows, and apparently proving that people will forgive a lot if you're attractive and talented. Even his nsync bandmates showed up for his LA concert, which may be a tease that my second favorite boy band ever has something big in the pipeline. Unfortunately, I don't care anymore. But yeah, many celebrities have overcome way worse than this. He seems more popular than ever, and if you don't like him and you just want him to go away, well, I don't think he's going to. And if that upsets you, well, cry me a river, cry me. So yeah, nobody should give a what the happened to Justin Timberlake, but you should kind of give a but you don't really have to.
Thank you for clicking on our video, everybody. If you like what you saw here, please make sure you like the video and subscribe and share with your friends who like this sort of content. JoBlo remains an independent company, and we appreciate all of your support.